So it is December 8th at 6:30, and we're going to start Environmental and Parks Commission meeting. We do the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Yeah.
We'll call roll then the pledge.
Oh, call roll and the pledge. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. That's your job.
Chair Jesse Valdez.
Here.
Myself, Susan Lance, Commissioner Stanley.
Here.
Commissioner Remington.
Here.
Commissioner Serafin.
Here.
Mike Wrench is excused, and non-voting members Leah Voss and Michelle Rente are excused. I think that Jason's supposed to be coming yet.
Okay, when he comes in, just mark down the time when he
Okay.
gets here.
Kevin Schlater's
Here.
here. Principal Planner X.
Here.
Sure. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So let's get started. So right now is citizen comment period, starting at 6:32, and then no one present, ending at 32. Next on the agenda was approval to the minutes from November 10th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written. Second.
Yeah.
All
I forgot what to do. I'm sorry.
Call roll.
Sorry, one more time.
Call the vote.
Okay. So we'll vote to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Not in favor. Motion is passed. All right. Then we'll get right into it. Update on park maintenance.
Nothing new to report, just the general maintenance.
So it looks like I wanted to talk about the Combined Parks Environmental Commission, the scope and purpose of us combining. Oh, I'm sorry. So as restart, sorry. Community event engagement, involvement in the City of Franklin community events.
I don't know if anyone has any other updates. I still need to connect Amy with a couple of folks to be working on that. Apologies.
That's with the ones we talked about the last time.
Malk, the Ware Nature Center, MMSD, through Pike Win. I wrote them, but I don't know if I mentioned that. So I spoke with Annie. They're definitely in, and
who is
the
that?
Milwaukee Area Land Conservancy.
Sorry.
MALC.
Okay.
That's the abbreviation.
Okay. You
and
spoke with who?
Annie Kaminsky.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely they're going to host a table for sure.
Okay.
I let her know that we had discussed expanding the event, and she thinks it's a great idea, and they're willing to like help and try to brainstorm some ideas for more educational programs that could go on during that event. We specifically talked about buckthorn and maybe even digging up a buckthorn and bringing it down there, because a lot of people don't even know what it looks like.
I don't.
And then we also talked about this Ware Nature Center will rent for free. You sign out equipment that it pulls the roots out. It's a puller. And she thought that the library had purchased a couple of these too. And then I also contacted the director of the library. I have not heard back from her yet. I talked to the assistant director, and she thinks they would not be opposed to that they would love to expand the event. But obviously the director is the one who needs to make the decision. So hopefully I'll have more next month. And then,
Is this for Arbor Day?
this is for Arbor Day.
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, oh,
To
make sure
that it
was.
Yeah, I was just,
This is for Arbor Day.
Okay,
It's
cool.
under the community engagement, but this is
Okay.
specifically for the Arbor Day event.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Okay.
And so I figured, because Malk reached out to us, I contacted Annie.
And
But, yeah, exactly. Until I hear from the director of the library, I'm not going to contact these other organizations. And that as soon as I do, and they say yes, they're interested in expanding it, we'll go from
sounds awesome. Thank you for doing that.
there. Yes, you are welcome. Gotta make a note of his arrival.
6:37, I got. Jason arrived.
Did you make it?
Hello, Jake.
Yeah, you're gonna have an MRI soon.
Anything else on Arbor Day? Anybody else? Are we actively looking for sponsors, tables, kind of stuff like that for that event?
I mean, for Arbor Day? I mean, yeah, like I said, the first thing I want to do is talk with the director of the library
Okay.
and be sure that there is no issue with expanding it, because traditionally it's been on the stairs of the library.
Okay.
And if we're going to have more than the tables that we already have,
Okay,
Milk
which is
and
usually
us,
just us.
yeah.
Okay.
we'll probably need to talk about taking up some of the parking lot space.
Okay.
But that is the intention, is
Sure.
to see if we can make it a little bit bigger
Sure.
and maybe have, vendors and,
Okay. Cool.
I don't know, we'll see what they have to say,
Yeah.
but, and go from there. Yeah,
That's awesome.
I think it would be fun. It's a good event already.
So the next then, after that, discussion on the Combined Parks and Environmental Commission. I wasn't here last time, so I don't know if fill in is something we need to talk about today.
Of the three sub-items, the only one I have an update on is the commission forms. So I put in your packet a draft of the form. So it's after the minutes. Did you do approval of minutes? We did. Yes, we did. It's after the minutes, and this is basically, so when someone applies for a natural resource special exception, they are required to respond to this set of criteria that are the text of the ordinance that's currently. Previously, it was a different ordinance. This questionnaire was much more extensive. It was roughly modeled on some of the questionnaires they have to do for the DNR. This has a more direct relationship to our local requirement. So the form that I created here was the review criteria with a space for their response and then a commission finding, basically. And then this finding would be the part that is that's what you're looking at.
Can I ask in the future, just because if this ever gets separated, I keep it in a book, if somewhere you could put
Item number.
a watermark, it's in review, that
Oh, that's
it's,
a
do you
good
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we know it's not something,
Yes.
if that's not approved yet.
I don't know. Yeah, basically, yeah. So anyway, so there's a space for the applicant response and a space for the commission finding. So that differs from how this form was prepared in the past. In the past, staff would basically write up a set of findings in the form based on the applicant responses and the interpretation of the ordinance staff had, and then the commission would review this and either adopt it or make changes to it and then adopt it, or and it had a finding of recommends approval or denial at the end. So in this case, my thought process here was that you could see the applicant's response, and then the finding is you think this is reasonable or not reasonable. And what do you think about that? And so I would pre-populate the finding with text based on the ordinance, like this, it seems like they've met the criteria here, or not, however it looks. But then, obviously, this is your recommendation, so the finding would have to reflect your findings. So we would probably go procedurally through each finding in the meeting and say, do we think that's reasonable? Yes or no? And then the final piece of it is copied over from the text of the previous recommendation form. The recommendation set forth and incorporated herein. So if you're making a recommendation, like, our finding is that this doesn't meet these criteria, we recommend that it be resolved in this. And then the Environmental Commission recommends approval or denial of the application, and then subject to additional following conditions. So what is not here, and which I would recommend having, you could craft some standard conditions of approval. The recording of conservation easements is a common one that becomes a condition of approval. We treat it as standard for a lot of applications, but it's not currently incorporated that way. There might be some other things that would be appropriate that could emerge over time, but basically, like, if there are additional conditions necessary or appropriate. So I don't know if you have feedback on this as drafted. I'm kind of trying to keep it like simple so that there's a direct line between your findings and the application of ordinances that are controlling the discussion. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I think it's awesome. Yeah, somewhere where we can write down
Right.
what we see, and I mean, because not that we're engineers or experts, but it's awesome that.
I mean, again, this is your community. Like, you have an
Yeah.
understanding of what the impact is going to do to your neighborhood. So
Mhm.
I think, as much as this is a technical review, it's also
Yeah, for sure.
like a review of the reasonableness of the request. So.
I have a couple comments. They're pretty much the same as comments I always make. First of all, criteria for approval. 1, the conditions giving rise to the request for a special exception were not self-imposed by the applicant. What is the definition of self-imposed by the applicant? Where is that at? Who's making that determination? Because this is, I mean, obviously it came up with the school, but it has come up before too, with a developer who develops the land and has one lot left, and then they want to develop that lot, but now they need, you know, an exception because it's water. Where when an initial plan comes forward for a development or of any sort, there are conditions that we grant the development, that the city grants, that they can add this many lots and this size, and that they have to do this, that, and the other. And then often what I've seen happen is it's after the homes are built that they'll come back at a later date and they'll ask the commission to make certain other exceptions to the natural resources that were left after they've already got the homes built and everything that was agreed to. And we forget or never get informed of the agreements that were put in place for them to put 77 homes on this 10-acre parcel, or, you know, and they're now wanting to change those. I think that, and I've seen this happen at least 3 times since I've been on this commission. And I think it's, it can be that the developer changed hands and they're not aware that these were spaces that were supposed to be left for water or trees or whatever. But at the bottom line is, we need that information. I think that information has to stay with the land so that we understand what was previously agreed to. I'm not saying you can't ever change what was previously agreed to, but I think if you're going to let someone develop 10 acres, let's say, and use quarter-acre parcels and put 77 homes, but these 3 sections remain woodland and water, and this is a drainage, and this is whatever. 10 years later, somebody else comes in, and there's 3 or 4 lots left, and now they want to take up part of that woods or part of this whatever. They come to us with a special exception, and we don't have the previous agreements for what was done to develop that particular piece of land. I don't care that it was, and they often say, I wasn't the developer at the time, or we didn't have this property at the time. But it shouldn't matter, because of the choices that we're talking about making are based on the land and the land use and the protection of the natural resource. So I do think that there needs to be a little more of a requirement for historical agreements every time we look at a special exception. And I do think that we have to define what self-imposed is, because self-imposed shouldn't have to do with an individual. It should have to do with the property. So maybe self-imposed isn't the best word.
Yeah, that is the phrasing that is most commonly found in variance ordinances. And I've
Then a definition, I think, that clarifies that we're not talking about the current developer. We're not talking about the current, school board president. We're talking about the agreements that were signed by that body about this particular piece of property. And now what they're wanting to change is not something that is self-imposed, right? They didn't agree to it before, and now they're not wanting to do it. I don't know, Marion. That's what you get paid the big bucks to figure out. But
Yeah,
I think you understand what I'm saying.
I do, and I like I said, there is. I probably don't have it with me like verbatim definition, but essentially that the design of the developer creates the problem, or that the proposed density is creating the encumbrance.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm referring to.
And I think so. What I would suggest then is under this findings area, having you could have some subheaders of have a finding about that we can communicate. This is kind of the expectations that the text of the ordinance is X. Here's how the commission will look at the finding. What is the historical site condition? Are you meeting the requirements related to being self-imposed, etc.? So that this will become part of the public record, and how you're arriving at that decision. That's actually constructive.
Can we see, could you find where they're talking about self-imposed, so we could see it on page? I would really think that that's important. So that is, and then obviously you're going to have to change this to the Parks Commission throughout, which was something that Commissioner Stanley had brought up, like our name is just Parks. So now Parks has to be the recommending commission.
I think it's just
No, it's on the back.
It's on page 3.
Environmental
Oh,
Commission
okay.
recommendation, Environmental Commission.
that's on me.
The meeting of, it's in the headers.
Can we also add, as an actual question on these, who is filling them out in relation to the developer? How's it going?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd love to who, or I guess relationship to, I don't know. I'm thinking of a word to use it. I could use some adult help here.
So typically, the application forms include the property owner, the applicant, might be a developer or whoever it is.
Yeah.
They kind of work that out, and then they have a representative.
Okay.
Preparer. So
Yeah.
they have a developer, the engineering firm, and the property owner, and all of that information. And we also actually require on the document that we're reviewing that they have appropriate stamps and seals. It would start to get to be a lot to distill it into the form.
Okay.
It should all be in the application form, and we could request that they it's appended to.
Okay.
Well, because that relates to what Commissioner Craig had said quite a while, or Alderman Craig, a while ago. We want to see people filling these out, the information for special exceptions, who have some kind of credentials to understand what is a wetland, what is an easement, what is a mitigation, what is stormwater, and I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what you're.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Getting at as
Yeah.
well.
At least maybe like I would make a strong recommendation. I don't know if it could be an asterisk or it could be whoever you talk to on the phone or an email, but I would make it clear, at least from us, saying, hey, the first thing the commissioner or this commission's gonna look at is who's filling this out, and I think that if that's even made clear, anywhere in this whole process, you'd hope maybe someone, you'd hope someone would say, oh, well, maybe I should have someone do this.
Yeah, that qualifies.
'Cause I think some of the answers we've seen over the past, or at least my term, some of them were like below, not below, but you could do better, yeah. So I think that'd be definitely, because that's like square number one, right?
Yep.
You're not gonna buy, I don't know, insurance from a car sale. Yes, I don't. Maybe you would. I don't.
Yeah, and so there's kind of a couple of different places where that's either codified or in there's some information about that in the policies as well. But for example, any wetland delineation must be prepared by an assured delineator, or we won't review it, and that document cannot be older than 5 years.
Okay.
Tree surveys also have a time limit on them.
Sure.
And then the natural resource protection plan, there's language about how that should be prepared in the compensation guide, and I think also in the code there's, typically the documents that we receive are prepared by engineering firms, and these are required to stamp and seal their civil sets.
Yep.
So we get those documents with a level of authority, but I think part of what might be happening is that the person that's representing the applicant not always, he's overseeing the whole project
Project manager as opposed to
Right.
boots on the ground.
as opposed to the technical participant that did that.
Sure.
So, we let the applicants decide who's going to represent them at meetings. But the documents themselves are usually must be. And I think it makes sense to just kind of include, so like, they kind of come together as like separate pieces, like the wetland delineation is always a credential.
Yep.
In with, I only ever asked for one copy of that, to like an electronic copy. They are voluminous, so I wouldn't expect you guys to look at them, with some exceptions, but but I usually try to prepare some elements of them to pass forward, but like the credential sheet would be part of it. Sure. So they should prepare a credential sheet to append to this.
Yeah, kind of like a cover letter almost for us. I think that'd be beneficial. And you guys can feedback too, but I think it'd be good to know what engineering firm or who the developers. I mean, I guess we got to know some of them, but especially the engineering firms, because I guess if our terms are 3 years and they might have 1 or 2 developers or 3 or 4 developments, as we sit here, it'd be nice to know, for us, which people are willing to work and care about the environment versus, I want 1 million apartments with no tree. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense if you guys want to fit in. Kind of get what I'm trying to say. Maybe.
No, that makes a lot
Yeah.
of sense. And also then we can see, to your point of where if a group has respect for certain areas and
Exactly.
who does not.
Yep.
And if, this is, firm X, then we know that we're gonna have to have a lengthy conversation regarding wetlands or, mature trees or anything like that, dependent on what our history is.
I would caution you that like each application should be reviewed on its own merits. Often people are just working with a firm because frequently works in Franklin
Sure.
versus, it really depends on each site, and you have an obligation to be as impartial as possible in the sense that like application have its own use certificates. That being said, I think you have experienced that some developers and applicants are more thoughtful about their approach. And that's something that it simplifies the process for everyone, and I make that clear to people pretty often.
Yeah.
So yeah. So. Are there other changes or suggestions for this? Historical assessments or agreements and easements on the property, definition of self-imposed, so I can bring back something for you to kind of look over. We incorporate it directly in the form.
You kind of already said this, but I didn't hear you repeat it right now, is the burden of proof to present evidence sufficient to support the findings, but the burden of proof, the evidence that should be submitted should be the historical tied to their parcel of land. Like, we should be able to see that up front. Not to beat a dead horse, but when we received the special exception from the school, nobody said anything about a conservation easement. And it wasn't until the third meeting that it was finally, we didn't get noticed that the woods were,
Yeah, I had no idea until
no, they
I
never
came
said,
here.
I didn't either,
Can we
until I
add
started
that
looking
on
into
this
it.
thing? Just saying.
So if there's an easement or any other use on the property, like, that should be required to be presented to us, because we're trying to make a decision about whether to grant a special exception for a natural resource on a particular parcel. And that parcel is already tied to certain agreements, and we're not made aware of that. It's not, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Put the maps into the new UDO, right? That where you have it layered with the special, with the different uses, correct? You were,
Sorry, I didn't hear
you were showing us those maps, and it had the different
Layers.
land use marked out, like color coded on a little key, and it had all the different areas.
Yeah.
But I do agree the historical information wasn't presented. That was really the parks side of this joint commission first round with making a special exception, and that historical documentation wasn't presented with it. And the self-imposed part comes from the history of what the applicant did to the property.
Yeah. I think maybe the best way to address this is to, before the applicant's answers and findings, have a portion of this that describes the existing requirement.
I feel like when they were doing that compensation map, they presented a PowerPoint little slide for us where we could see the field and where they plan to put the trees, and something similar to that would be helpful.
Yep.
So I do think that there should be the onus of, it must be disclosed if there's agreements about parts of the parcel that have been, whether they want to uphold the agreements or not. And anybody, if there is some type of restriction or agreement on any part of the parcel, we should see that before we make a decision about an exception to the ordinance. And I kind of am, that's not a requirement already, Marion? That's not.
I mean, so easements are required to be shown on site plan and resource special exception document. In the drawings, we don't request copies of the themselves, but that is something that you, how I would probably approach it is to show them on the drawings, have the document number referred to in that header, so they should be recorded with the Register of Deeds. It's something like a document that's been recorded. You should be able to reference. Most responsible developers will have done that site.
Can we make a formal suggestion or recommendation from common council to add that to anything? Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean, you can recommend it would be requesting an amendment to the UDO text. That's something that we'd have to kind of work up through the process of doing that text amendment. But we do require that currently on drawings and documents, but we don't refer to it in quite the way that I'm suggesting. Document number.
Sure.
I just think where it would say like criteria for approval, you must submit a map or refer to the drawing and make it available to the commission, prior to the review of the exception or something like that. Like that should be a criteria
Should we
to the approval.
get that written down in a formal way? And I'd love to get that process started.
Well,
added somewhere.
Well, we can put that in this without
Yeah, you can put that in your
in this
form.
special
Okay.
the recommendation.
So this is our form.
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. So
The
instead
other-
of going up the whole ladder
Right.
to UDO and
I mean,
take
you can
years.
do both. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But I think at the very least we need to have it in this form as like
Okay.
a requirement for a special exception to be reviewed would be that you submit the maps that show
Sure.
all of the.
Yeah, I mean, it is a requirement. So,
But we didn't get it done, so they just didn't follow that requirement either, huh?
So
I honestly don't recall what was in the packet, but
So
I mean-
maybe the proper place to add that would be at the very top, after the first sentence. We just add an additional sentence to say, the applicant shall have the burden of proof to present evidence sufficient to support the findings required, and a visual aid of the land should be supplied with the application.
I mean, they can get a map right here. They can come in and ask for the map and.
Assuming if they're making plans, they have.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a big ask.
the way that I typically describe these applications, so for all development in the city, whether it's full of categories where we specifically request this, but they're land divisions, site plans, for a subdivision or for a commercial development. So those types of applications must submit a natural resource protection plan that describes the existing and any impacts that are proposed. So there should be a map with all of those applications.
So we would want that copy.
Yeah, and that's the existing condition, and then the NRSC is a new map with a proposed condition or variance. So I frankly don't recall what was in the packet for the school district, but typically you couldn't advance an application without any minimum the existing and proposed condition drawing.
So given that information is the ask, a side-by-side of the existing, and then a map identifying the change.
Correct.
So that maybe more specifically would be what we would require.
Yeah, and actually some of this discussion is in the compensation natural resource and like the guide that was discussed a little bit and introduced in the last meeting. I don't know if I marked up copies, so that's super fun. But that kind of document. So there's a section here called Natural Resource Protection Plan Guidance. That kind of talks about the types of information that are supposed to be included, how it should be depicted, like what it is in terms of like what's the distance, what type of trees are there, et cetera.
But that's just a guidance document, right?
So this is later on the agenda this evening, but the goal with this is it's going to be an administrative policy that you administer. So this will be something that we're giving to developers and that we are using as criteria of review that doesn't rise to the level of the ordinance, but is like, here's what you need to do. Because part of the reason we're getting a huge variety of documents and not always the same thing is because different people are reviewing it. Like I have been requiring so there's what the text of the ordinance says, and then this is the direction that we are giving to developers. This level of detail doesn't need to be necessarily codified or could be subject to change. And so there's elements of this that are codified, like the action standards and definitions. But the overall guidance is like, in general, we recommend to approach it this way. Here's the drawing. So these kind of should go together. Yeah. Yep. That's the goal anyway.
So, I think, right, under section 15(9)-08, that the applicant shall have the burden of proof, present evidence, blah, blah, blah. And then I think we should add, requirements, maps. We can figure out the wording later. You guys know what we're talking about. And then whatever, also disclose any, please help me, you know what I'm talking about. Disclose any,
The current land use
Um,
agreements.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to get out.
Something
Any,
like that.
um,
And propose changes.
and then what's it called when you can't do something because they already signed an agreement? So brain. It'd kill me. Servancy agreement or whatever. Any of those things should be disclosed to us. Like we were
Conservation
saying.
easement.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was looking for. I think, smack dab right on top, can't miss it. I think that would be.
Do you want to see them separately?
Yes, separate bullet point.
But do you want to see the actual easement document that was recorded with separate?
Oh, I think that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
But I guess what I also want to mention, I don't want to bury you guys in paperwork. So what makes sense for you?
I mean, to me, even if we have the outline of the area on the map and inside the outline it says this is.
Yeah.
That would be, because then that at least triggers us to understand this piece of this property is in a conservation easement and they're proposing to dig into this much of it. So I want to look at what does that or I would then say, I want to look at what's the conservation easement agreement? And then I could ask you for that.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a conservation easement, but they're proposing to do something over here, I might not need to even look at that,
Yeah.
Would an executive summary be helpful for that, of where it gives a breakdown of existing along with proposed changes, and if they're, because that way then you don't have to provide, as you put it, the voluminous copy of everything that's ever been associated with a parcel.
Mm-hmm.
That you're able to say, you know what, this change is only about a wetland that's on the northwest corner of the property. None of the other things that have been preserved or were asked for exceptions are being touched. And we can then read the executive summary and saying, okay, well, all of our focus now is only on the northwest portion of the property and what that will entail. yes, we are aware of all these other exceptions that have been made in the past, but they are not, they don't bear weight for the new exception that's being requested.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. We try to provide that information in the staff report, but like having the finding be clear, it would be helpful to provide that in abstract.
Because I think at that point where if we do have that executive summary, that gives us at least, kind of that roadmap of what has happened in the past, where it's going to happen in the future, and if it is something that we would like individually would like to dive deeper on, that all of those items then are kind of tabulated and can kind of communicate with you individually and saying, I would like to know more about this thing or that thing. So if we're talking, for example, northwest corner of a parcel with a wetland delineation that needs to be, altered in some way. Well, if the southeastern portion of the property, there was another wetland delineation, okay, well, what happened in that southeastern corner? Can that kind of be in alignment with what they want to do in the northwest corridor of the property, and being able to either A, make life easier on the applicant, or B, try and streamline it so they do align, so that way it's not where there's a huge upset and changing of things when it doesn't have to be. I think is where I'm kind of.
I to add on to that, I think it'd be nice. I think it'd be nice for us to see something well put together that someone tried on, versus just a little form they filled out. Like we kind of discussed earlier, some of the answers we got were not the greatest in the past. So it'd be nice, because it's them spending time to get it through here. And I think if the standard is take time to do it, present something put together for everybody that's seeing this and hears it, it looks better for everybody versus like an argument, I guess. If it's
Yeah.
if when they bring it to our table and it's put together and everything's disclosed, it should go smoothly in theory. I think that'd be beneficial to everyone.
I'm happy to communicate that expectation.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of results it will have is not something I control.
Yeah.
So, I wish I could. And that's part of the review process, right? If something looks like if they have not adequately evaluated the site conditions that you're finding would be, this is an unacceptable answer.
Mm-hmm.
It should reflect the thought process of the commission and the response to the level of thought that the applicant. There is part of the goal of like the guidance that we have later on the agenda is to help make clear some of those expectations, but I will tell you there is a huge range in terms of the level of like detail and thought that people are going to do. Some people will just do the bare. We can enforce up to a point, but like the one word answer. I have sent comments back to people and not moved an application forward in the past because they did not adequately respond to the existing questionnaire.
Yeah.
That's one reason why I would decline to even try to schedule something.
Sure.
But again, at some point, it needs to move forward. It might be that the applicant like that is my. When we move it forward, you're finding see if their response is.
And then this sheet, just so I have this sheet comes to us with our findings, come up with recommendations.
Plan commission.
Plan commission.
Yep. And so how it's worked in the past, staff has drafted a finding,
Okay.
but it wasn't split out like the applicant response to finding. It was
Sure.
sort of just the finding.
Okay.
this is a little bit clearer that separation, their answer, here's our finding.
And this could be a really dumb question, or maybe I don't know. Just let me know. Does when someone submits a application for development, does the city go out there and do their own findings, or is it what's last on?
It's kind of a common combination.
Okay.
I am not a wetland expert.
Sure.
I will often do a site visit for something, especially if it's like development, and take a look at the existing conditions and kind of match up the map. But we do have to rely on the information that's provided.
Okay.
You know, the field delineation,
Okay.
the sewer pack maps or something. You know, those policies are set. The FEMA guidelines are.
Sure.
I would not be able to tell you where, like, draw a surveyor's line for a FEMA
Sure.
map.
Yeah.
But we do go and look and say, you know, the conditions on this site are applied,
Okay.
or there's something that doesn't thrive.
Sure.
I
Okay.
haven't really found that, but
Okay.
in some cases, people will have started to grading permit or something like that. And it doesn't get reviewed by my department. It's site work without having already put forward a like full development proposal.
Mhm.
So, but that's like kind of a separate.
Gotcha.
If something were impacting a natural resource, typically that would then get flagged.
Then it gets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Is there any way we can add commission's finding and maybe the city's finding as well on this form, or like?
a staff comment and
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to know because obviously the more people that see it and comment on it, the better. Than 8 people. I guess power in numbers. I guess is kind of my point.
Are you saying after the questions?
Yeah. So I mean,
Applicant response, commission findings.
or maybe
city?
city findings, and then have it in order. I think that'd be phenomenal to have. Obviously, you know more things than we do.
yeah, I think
That makes sense.
I'd like to have a chat with the zoning administrator about where that should go.
Okay.
Because we do try to present you with an analysis of the application. That's the staff report.
Sure.
And in staff reports for zoning variants, like I said before, this is somewhat a type of variant. In the staff report, we will go item by item.
Sure.
For the finding of like the applicant's response, staff's comment.
Mhm.
So I would think that might be the better place for that, but
Okay.
I'm gonna ask Rachel. I'd like to ask him.
Sure.
because it is ultimately your finding,
Mhm.
and I don't know that needs to be just
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be like on the city side of things, but I mean, for us, it'd be nice to know. Like, I guess, like we kind of brought it up earlier. You guys know things that we might not. It'd be awesome to know those things, and sometimes it gets lost.
On
Yeah.
that note, the only thing that I think that we ever see is that the staff recommends approval of this NRS. I cannot recall ever seeing anything other than staff recommends approval.
Is
for
that
every
planning staff?
single one.
Planning staff?
Yeah, and that's where I had asked in the past, how are you approving this? I don't think it even meets the basic criteria for
Sure.
this request. And I remember a weird comment from your Nick on that. And I just think it's like, we don't always have to agree on stuff, but it should be very clear, like, what are the criteria? And yes, instead of just this statement of, we recommend that you guys approve it. Well, okay. It wouldn't come to us if you didn't recommend that we approve it, right?
It could. I mean, there are situations where people will make a request and not meet the basic criteria, still insist on the process. That hasn't happened yet. But there have been some NRCs that have been denied because they do kinds of diligent or
Before they came here, though, they weren't entertained by a commission,
no, that have been denied by council.
by common council.
So it worked its way up the.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
have to look and see.
I
what-
agree with what Jesse's saying, is that if staff is reviewing it, then
And you said there's a summary report. Who did you say you're following up with?
The zoning regulo.
So can we go over what we have on here?
Yeah. So the notes that I have here is to sort of works out to be an executive summary with the scope of the projects, the existing conditions, proposed conditions, and a clear exhibit for conservation and appended to the document. Site history and existing land use, a commission definition of self-imposed, so some bring something for you to work off of at the next meeting, and the documents. In the staff report, a staff comment analysis. My notes say like a BDA report, because this would be the applicant response and then the staff comment, separate from this document. So that would be in the staff report, but like it would all kind of the same. So, and then on this credentials page.
And then can you add for next week's agenda or next month's agenda to discuss a formal recommendation, change the text for
RSC.
yeah, for disclosing exact or I'm so
Conservation.
yes.
What's that?
Disclosing conservation.
So the historical agreements.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that obviously we'll learn that next time we can talk about that. Anybody else got to add anything to that, or are we good to keep forward?
we'll cover it.
Okay, sounds good.
And we can, I mean, this is an important,
Yeah,
this is a really important document.
absolutely.
And then we can review this updated version again, Marion? Okay, that'd be
Please.
great.
And then, yeah, if you could add that to your ad agenda, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I will give you a revised version of this. I've been saying this for a while, but there is likely to be an NRSE at, if not your January meeting, then one of the meetings before April. And if the form hasn't been formally adopted, I would like to implement it. But, and you can say, we're not comfortable with this aspect of it, and
Sure.
we want to X that out in the meeting, but so you understand. There are applications in process right now. Apply this
Sure.
to, so if that's okay.
Mhm.
Keep those.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because otherwise we have to use the old form.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. So definitely that'd be. I think this, if we could have this on top of our agenda, next one, that'd be awesome. All right. Sorry here, everybody. So next then would be review of park plans finance.
I do not have updated information finances. I will have to, hopefully we will have them in first quarter.
Littering fines, discussion of recommendation to common council to increase fines or littering, for commercial and waste removal trucks.
Marion has the letters, I believe she printed them out, so you'll have to come sign them.
These are ready for your signature.
Okay. I'll look at that.
Okay.
Oh, and you'll sign, and then you'll
It's
send
the
them?
letter we all agreed to.
Okay,
Minus the
Yeah, sorry.
lawyer review.
Okay.
He had me add a couple commas,
Okay.
and not a comma person. I'm
Sure.
an. But there's more than one. But anyway, I
Yep.
incorporated all of his comments,
Okay.
and then I missed a D on acknowledged.
Okay.
And
Sure.
otherwise, it's the same exact letter that
No,
you've all seen
okay, yeah.
for 2 months.
Yep.
I just put the different company headers on there so that she
Cool.
could just print it out, which
Awesome.
So when will they
She
go
did.
out, Marion?
As soon
After
as I
Jesse
sign.
signs them, they will.
My lovely niece.
You.
yeah, be careful.
Yeah, I know.
No.
That's what I said. Awesome. That'd be awesome. Can we also, there's no huge rush on this. Can you bring us the current laws and fines for?
In a packet.
It could have been,
Yeah.
and I know I kind of dropped the ball on this. I brought it up, and then I never had responsibility.
Yeah, I can do that regardless.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not sweating over it. I gotta sign all these.
Yeah,
All right.
there's like 5 of them.
Okay. All right. Cool. Park facilities, reservation and permitting policies. Discussion of reservation policies for league sports and other groups, fees, rules, and policies. for parks.
So I communicated the commission request for review form as requested to the clerk's office, and it's also now available on the website.
It's on there now?
Yeah.
I think we also wanted,
Which one was that?
The very back of our packet is the talking about.
and it was at the last meeting,
I
we
mean,
talked
this is
about
an
it.
example we'll vote on, but it is.
Yeah,
I
that
don't have that here.
But I think we also wanted to talk about, the policy that, Karen Malecki had created to re-review it, because I don't think it ever was implemented. And we really need to get something in place.
for rules for the parks themselves.
It was for,
Reservation policy.
and for the courts, to reserve the courts, yeah.
So I think last time we had a contradiction where we were told by some people that rented the pavilion at the park could also then rent football courts, the tennis court. And then I think we were told, no, that is not true. And then I think Commissioner Stanley said, well, we allowed that last year. And then we said, well, we need to have some kind of formal policy about whether that is allowed or not and under what circumstances.
And we that's kind of what that
Right.
document was.
So that document's on there, on the city
The one that
website.
Karen,
Park rentals brochure for the city of Franklin, Wisconsin is
is that the one that, I don't have my phone.
available.
The one that Karen, that was a,
Yep. It's under files, parks, Franklin.
what's it
Park.
called? Park rental?
How long is it, Kristen? Can you read it?
It's 14 pages.
Oh, well, geez.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
really
it's
need
15
to.
megs. It's a park rentals brochure for the city of Franklin. And in there, it's a little confusing because the section with the courts is like got a column also for the little league teams or the baseball team rentals, right? So that one said Franklin leagues only for the ballpark rentals, but then we did away with the ballpark rentals.
Yeah,
So that would need to be updated. It's a 2024 document.
I think that was part of what
handing out it.
Yeah, the printed version of it was. And then the part for I took a screen capture of it.
Can you send me the link on my phone? I don't have it with me, but if you.
So it says other park rentals, tennis and pickleball courts. Courts may be available to open play, will be available to open play when not reserved by Franklin School District Community Education and Recreation Department program. And then it says the Franklin School Community Education Recreation Department offers a variety of clinics, lessons, leagues, and tournaments. It doesn't have any specific policy in the packet that we have online. And then when I go online, it doesn't have like the bandstand rental or anything like that.
And wasn't part of the reason with the rental of the courts was because we didn't have a computer system that would go online and rent them? And there's nothing we didn't establish any costs or anything with it. It just sort of ended.
Yeah, we had come up with some like hours and times and prices, and then the request was put into a budget for that software, right, to make it feasible to reserve courts. And then that didn't get into the budget for that year and pushed to the next year request, right?
So you're looking for online booking?
We had, yes, we
That's part
had
of it.
reviewed a couple of different options for online booking, some that other cities around us were using, some that the county was using.
Yeah.
They were presented to us. We asked formally to the Common Council for a
And never
budget
got on.
to get a subscription for that reservation
Okay.
software. It's like a what was it called? Rec Track or something, or
That was one of them.
one of them,
I don't
right?
remember which one.
Right. But when it didn't get approved in the budget, we had said we're not going to reserve out any courts until, except for schools and some other. I forget. You had like a little slide that had the verbiage on it of what the exceptions were. We would make special exceptions.
I think it's on the form actually where it says like recognized groups or something like that.
So is the software supposed to be in the budget now for this year?
No, so I took a crack at bringing it back. Where it is right now is that there was not a request specifically for that for the 2026 budget.
Why not? I thought we made a request.
You made a request for not for 2026. You made a request for this year in the last year's
Is
budget.
it too late to do now?
Yes.
There,
So if it wasn't granted, doesn't that get carried over?
there has to be submitted really.
Well, I think we should have been informed then, shouldn't we, that needed to be requested?
Yeah, that would have been ideal. I would like to get you more budgeting information. That's been
Well, we keep asking for it.
Well,
yes.
How many months?
So instead of yelling at her, I think best we do, we add it to our January
So
meeting.
nobody's
and-
yelling.
Yeah.
Let's
or,
not call
sorry.
that yelling. She
Uh,
has every right to.
yeah.
That's what I said.
No, sorry.
You
I-
have it.
yeah.
People can. I
Well,
mean,
so-
her points are valid.
Yeah.
Jesse.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's add it to the agenda for January to get that in the budget. I think.
The software.
Yeah. That'd be
What kind of
and-
what kind of cost do you guys recall? What kind of cost it was? Like, is it
Isn't it like
thousands,
close to
tens,
50,000 or 30-some thousand a
Oh,
year? And
really?
they said it wouldn't, at least to implement it. But the thing of it is, we're getting, and there is tonight in the packet, a request to reserve the courts. I don't think we just need to know, are we going to start reserving the courts? What are we going to charge? I don't think there are going to be that many requests, but we do need to have some guidelines for that. And
Last time I talked
The
to
city's losing out, I think, on, I don't know, it's not a huge amount of money, but they are losing out on some money if they review the reports.
the last time I talked to the mayor about the software, he says, until we get the software, he said, we have 3 clerks that are sitting in the front office, can take reservations anytime. But he didn't tell the 3 clerks that are sitting there.
We had a clerk come to one of our parks meeting and present to us and showed us the calendars that they mark off with pencil, you know, what pavilions, each area. It's actual hard copy penciled in reservations.
Yeah.
So it's
My understanding during that meeting, she was trying to convey to us they weren't able to accept more responsibility in the role of reservations because they were tapped out and under source. So
Well,
we
Marion got
didn't
different
pursue it,
information.
you know? There was an ask from the clerk's office, like, please don't put more on our plate. We can't.
Yeah.
Well, they aren't doing the baseball diamonds anymore.
Correct.
And I don't think there would be that many. You'd have to make an exemption to allow them to do it, but you have to figure out, is there going to be a charge for them to allow them?
So, first of all, it does say on here, league sport reservation, parks facility, parentheses, from recognized community groups only. So, are we starting with, because first thing we have to say is, if we're going to rent them, who can rent them? And so you're
Yes,
saying
exactly.
recognized community groups only?
And who are they?
Is that what we're saying? Is that what it is? That's what's on the form right now.
Yeah, this commission took a decision. I would have to look for the wording, but commissioners, it was effectively that like the rec department, like community groups for like long-term reservations, you would consider it of like sports, the high school, the rec department, a formal group, which in this case, it's Engage Franklin, so it's, you know, a city organization. Or the
But
civic
it's
celebration.
not, so, okay. Well, we can talk about the actual request
When we
after.
get to them, yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, Kevin, I've got a question for you. On top of your mind, do you know how much money reservations bring in? Like ballpark?
Minimal amount.
So it'd be hard to justify $30,000 software.
No.
So that'd be the uppest of uphill battles for the parks anyway.
Capital budget for next year is relevant, pretty much zero for
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
They pretty much took all capital budget out. Yes. I'm sure you-
The offset, that's what we're charging.
I don't know if the charges would make the software investment revenue neutral. Because I don't
Yeah.
think, because unless you're charging like $2,000 per reservation to get to that $30,000 mark.
Reservation fee, I'm sorry, Alderman, basically is there to cover our cleaning bills, like that dumpster fee. It
I thought they were
wouldn't even come
talking
close
about
to,
all the money that we, at tournaments, talking about.
I
Remember?
don't know that there would be, but it does seem like it would be something, why wouldn't the city want to do an occasional tournament? The city could do one these are groups that want to come in and do it, but you're not going to bring in enough to cover software.
I think the question mark then becomes, are we doing it for outside entities that want to hold tournaments, or do we want to have an ability for residents and neighborhood groups to have the ability to hold sports? And at that point, then, when we're talking about a dollar amount attached to it, it becomes very much, I think, disproportionate for my neighborhood that wants to get together and play. It becomes harder for them to justify the cost versus, oh, well, this is United States Pickleball Association that wants to set up a thing for Labor Day weekend or something of that nature where they don't have a problem coming up with a fee that would kind of elbow out something else.
I thought somebody was talking about all the money that they were making in Muskego by having tournaments at their pickleball.
They were, what's different, I think, there is their rec department is aligned with the city, where we're totally separate from, and they have somebody that, I don't know if she pays the rec department, but they probably have 3-4 tournaments a year that they're running. And all I know is the one that was last year on the 4th of July.
I think the difference would be where, is it city that runs it or school district? School district, Franklin runs the rec department. Thus, they're the ones that capture revenue. Whereas Muskego, their school board does not have anything to, at least I know from the school board side of it, doesn't have a recreation piece that they're a part of. So
Okay, then I
perhaps-
misunderstood the whole thing.
But I'm confused what you said about legal.
So
Because their rec is with their school and rec, where we're school, or I shouldn't say we're rec and we're city. And they're city, as far as I know, they work together.
So in my time of going to like Muskego Norway school board meetings, there has never been any items for discussion regarding their rec department because they don't have an administrative oversight over them. Whereas in Franklin, the school board has the oversight of the rec department. So when you look at, hey, I want to take the yoga
Not the
class,
school, I got you.
they're the ones, and because they're the ones that kind of put together the programming, they're the ones that collect the revenue for that. So when I have to pay for my daughter to play soccer at Ben Franklin,
Yeah.
then city doesn't see any of the fee that I have to pay for that.
Here,
Correct.
right, the rec department does.
Correct, and that goes to the school.
School district.
Yeah, it's too bad that the school wouldn't do it and then reimburse the city for tournaments. If they could go through. Because it is true, and I know the mayor at one point was going to go to the rec and talk to them about sharing some of the fees just because of the maintenance that
Oh,
the city has to
it is
handle.
a fight that I'm having because since I don't live in the Franklin school district area, I pay non-resident fees for their programming because of apparently I don't live in Franklin.
So you pay double?
Do you not live in Franklin?
I live in Franklin, but I live in the Whitnall school district.
Oh. okay.
So if you live,
Public School District.
But you should have to be able to pay resident fee.
you would think.
Because there is a girl that plays pickleball that she's in that same thing, but she talks to the rec department and they allow her to pay in.
I have 2 other residents in my neighborhood
Well,
that have to go through a different
Yeah.
pricing structure. Which I'm curious if anyone who lives in the Oak Creek Franklin school district, if they also have to pay
Yeah.
different fees. So it is a thorn in my side.
If someone could clarify too. So you can rent the pavilions and whatnot regardless if you're resident or non-resident. But as of right now, to do baseball or pickleball courts or tennis courts, do you have to be a certain group? Or
Wait a
is it
minute,
wide open?
you
right
can
now?
rent a pavilion in our park if you're not a resident of Franklin?
sure, you pay more.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
you pay, not
Yeah,
resident? Okay.
yeah, it's double. I know nothing about the parks. So
But the pickleball courts, there's the evening and on Saturdays, that's through the rec. And
Okay.
otherwise, the courts are open
okay, just for the game.
for anybody. to
Okay.
come.
And is there a problem with that or not?
I don't see a problem
Okay.
with it.
It's liked by the citizens.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
open,
yeah. No.
yes.
Okay.
But
So
anybody can play on it. Anybody.
Yeah. And where it becomes sticky is when we get requests
Gotcha.
from groups
Right.
So that's what we're talking about is,
Okay, so we're trying to discuss
what kind of a group? And on the form that we're using, the city's using, it does say recognized community groups.
We don't know what
But
that means.
I think we don't know what that means. It's too
Yeah.
broad. We just denied the guy who was going through
Yeah.
Southeast Wisconsin Association of Pickleball to set up a tournament.
We denied
Southeast-
that though because it wasn't on our agenda.
It wasn't on our agenda,
Yeah,
correct.
we didn't really review it.
I guess that's fair enough, fair enough. But if we had to review it, Southeast Wisconsin Association of Pickleball is a recognized group,
Yeah.
community group. So I think our hands would be tied. We would have to approve it.
But then we would fall back on the city ordinance for the parks that says that you're not allowed to do revenue.
The only revenue they were collecting was the fee to sign up, because they had to have a sign-up thing.
Right.
They weren't making, so I'm just saying, like, that is the devil in the details, I think, where I could interpret the $10 that you had to pay to sign up through their website as a fee to sign up, not a fee to use the court.
It was
No, it's 10.
the
It was
one.
how much?
It was $70 for that tournament.
I thought you said it was 10, well, whatever.
Oh, for the one that we
For
didn't review.
The one that we didn't review,
Oh,
he was gonna
He
charge a
wanted to
nominal
cover the
fee
food for
just
the
to cover,
yeah.
So you guys have, or the city has rules where they can't charge for profit
Is there
using
really
our
a
I'm
rule?
sorry.
Is that
I-
really a
Yeah.
rule?
I was talking about the one for the Franklin Civic.
the civic thing.
Oh,
That we
I
did
remember.
approve.
was approved.
Well, we did approve it, but we only approved it because
It had gone
we had
out
to.
to
We'd
the
already
public
advertised it,
already
collected
as an
money.
improvement.
and-
Is there really a written rule that says you can't charge to use the courts? If you rent it, you can't charge?
There's an ordinance, there is,
I
and
think
it
there
says
would
you
be.
can't buy, sell, or on am I right? Could look it up, but
Yeah,
it's like you can't buy and
Digital
sell
or-
on public land, on the city
Yeah.
land.
Well, then I
Or
don't
in
know
the
why
city
we
park.
would even look at any of these requests.
and maybe we shouldn't.
Or maybe we should change.
I mean,
I
maybe we
tell
should.
you what,
but that's-
Franklin's got the cream of the pickleball courts right now
Mhm.
in the surrounding areas.
Make some money off it.
City should.
But we really want to take open play away.
Oh, that's the
That's-
issue that we're
Well,
discussing.
an occasional
Oh,
tournament.
okay.
They'd want to get in a tournament.
So that's the issue that's kind of abrupting is people want to schedule tournaments, but right now they're open play.
Well, peeling back to when we were just parks, there was many years when we had a resident who came in and requested to reserve all of the courts so that they could run a, community group pickleball.
Sure.
And then when it got so popular and so many people were wanting to use the courts,
Sure.
we had to set up a policy to say it's not individual residents, because at that point, when people found out, you just go to the parks meeting and you ask to reserve the courts and you get them,
Sure.
then we had several residents coming and saying, I want Wednesday nights, every Wednesday from
Yes.
4 to 7.
Sure.
Mhm.
Whether or not I'm going to
Me
be
and
there or
my
not,
9
I don't
friends
know.
are
Sure.
gonna
So then you
Wait,
put a
so-
kibosh
So,
on.
yeah.
In order to make it fair and equitable for the community and to make our citizens who live close to the parks, who felt they should have access to them as well,
Sure.
we were like, no citizen privately can come and say, I want to reserve
Got
all the
it.
courts.
But
Now, this
groups
is when we
can.
weren't charging either. It was
Okay.
free.
Sure.
And also, there was a small fee being given to the person who was reserving at that time. So we
Sure.
were trying to eliminate that.
Okay.
So that's the background of that.
Sure.
So then we had a slide, and we really spent a lot of time on the devil in the details with trying to figure out the actual verbiage. And what I remember was we had that and special event. Remember? Right? So if we could find that, I feel like that would be helpful.
I think it would
in
be
giving us
too.
the blueprint of what it is. And Amy's bringing it up within the context of that form that we currently have, you said posted. I haven't seen that form.
It's in the back of so the form is on the Parks Commission
In our-
website. And then this form, you have a
I see it.
request in your packet. This has actually been withdrawn. They did that right after. They withdrew it? Yeah, so
This, they took it off?
they've withdrawn their request. There's an email here that.
Oh, this Engage?
Yeah,
Franklin
so-
Engage?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as far as reservations are concerned, I want to bring up 1.2, which is in regards to one of our line items tonight, is with the park band shell, that's in that 14-page document under the pickleball courts with the other rentals. And all it says is reservations will be accepted in person only at the clerk's office located in Franklin City Hall. So I'm just curious, why does a request like that have to come to us?
It may be that it always has.
Right, and I'm
So-
just, just because it always was, maybe we can think about if the dates jive with the calendar from the clerk's office, why put this extra layer of bureaucracy on it to say, because do we care whether the bandstand is being used at Lions Legend?
No.
Is there any reason why you can think of? Like, sometimes the dates, maybe if it's like, the July civic engagement event, they're not going to want to rent it on
I
that,
think
right?
we need to be informed, though.
So here's the thing, here on the form, Kristen, it says items reviewed by the commission.
Okay.
And then it bullets the items that would be reviewed by the commission.
Mhm.
Special requests related to park pavilion or other park facility rental. That makes sense. If they want a special
That's what
request,
it's under.
like the food truck
So
or
that's
whatever.
how we see it.
League sport reservations of park facility. And then that says from a recognized community group only. So a league sport reservation we would have to review that.
Right. Oh, I'm not talking about the
Requests.
league sports. I'm just talking about the bandstand. That's all.
Band shell can be rented without coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Is
so
that-
This is what I'm saying.
so
like,
why did it get on our agenda?
I think it's because
It's
it's,
been
a series
coming
of
every-
events.
which
Because it's more than one day.
which one's on our agenda?
The band.
Isn't that go
or
in the
the
city newsletter
concerts in the
also?
park.
Yeah.
Oh, the concerts in the park.
Concerts in the park.
Because
They
they
just
want to
follow it.
reserve that multiple days a row
Yeah.
in the city. So I think
that
we
why?
need to say, yeah, we're going to let this organization monopolize this for these concerts
I
every
think we
Saturday.
need to know. I think it still has to.
Our document doesn't really reflect that. That's online. The one that has the
Well,
rental.
if I
But
can
this
finish
form
the,
does, you're saying.
the form says request to host a public event in the city of Franklin.
Oh, and
Park.
it's a public event.
That's a public event. So
Okay.
a request to host a public event has to come through.
Okay, so
Small
that makes it
donations
the
of
exception.
equipment, requests for new facility amenities or parks, and park development plans. So if you look at you want to look at the form.
Oh, I've seen it. I've read it on our
Okay.
packet.
So
Yeah,
that
I'm just saying.
it's not everything that
Our-
has to come to us. If it's these things here have to be reviewed by the commission.
Right. It makes sense when you're saying it like that it's a public event. They're going to do a concert in the park. But the actual our document that's online right now for park rentals says just go to the clerk's office to rent the bandstand. That's it. It
But that
doesn't-
wouldn't be a public
It doesn't
event.
say it has to come back here. Perhaps that's the clarification.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean,
So you can rent the bandstand without going through the commission.
Right.
If it's a public event,
Then it falls under that
Then you
criteria.
come
of the
under-
line.
yes.
Sure.
Okay.
so I could go do a little concert by myself and for $100.
Or have your own family
Yeah,
graduation
okay, yeah.
ceremony, or do something,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
There's no charge for it.
The band
Oh.
shelter?
Oh.
They received a public grant,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
they
nice.
get a waiver of the.
Cool. I don't have a problem.
It's a common council to fund community groups so that they can offset the cost of.
That's cool. Cool.
Okay, so what are we doing? Is the last thing or-
I great
Wow.
question. I'm Austin Sauce as well. So I think, and this is I don't know. I'm not set in stone on this either. And Kevin, I'd like your input as well. When we rent out our pickleball courts, because it seems like that's the hot thing everyone's doing. Was it a problem getting filled up all the time?
We don't rent out.
Or you don't rent them?
The only one is the
Okay.
rec department and grouped it.
What's the other group?
There's the rec
The high
department.
school.
Yeah, the high
Oh,
school.
yeah.
High school club, right? Did we
Yeah,
have
that
the
high school
Pleasant
pickleball
View
club.
High School pickleball club?
Okay.
Oh,
So
There's no private citizen walking up and renting.
okay, so the reason it's on our agenda is we wanted to discuss if we should be doing that, or
Well, because we had
Anybody else?
prepared all these rules,
gotcha.
and then really nothing ever came of it. So,
I think the way it is right now, it should.
Because it's
When you
first
have a
come, first
special
served.
situation, let them come here and explain.
oh, I agree they should
I-
come here and
Yeah,
make a request, but we have to have the rules so we know who we would even allow to do it, so.
well, so can we get the slide for next time, and
Yeah.
can we get a definition of what is what is that? What tells what a recognized community group is? Is that what the slide
It
does?
did, yeah, it had
Yeah,
defined
can
it.
we just look at that next time then, and
That'd be awesome. All right.
maybe make a
And you're saying the
decision?
Karen's form's out there to look at, Kristen?
I'm sorry, what?
Karen's form is out there online
uh,
to look at?
Her fort,
Okay,
it's under other park rentals.
okay.
Can you direct where it is on here?
You know, I didn't go from the webpage.
Oh,
I just
okay.
I typed in Franklin Park Rentals.
Okay, sounds
And
good.
It's,
I'll
it's
dig deeper
under
at some point.
it says it's under files,
Okay.
parks, and Franklin Park
Yep.
Files?
brochure is what it's called.
Okay.
Franklin Park brochure.
Yes.
Guessing it helps.
All right.
Okay. That being said, then, Natural Resource Impact Compensation Guide, Introduction, Draft Guide, Adoption, and Administration.
Do you guys have any feedback on the draft that was provided at the last meeting? There are some things in it that need to be updated in terms of like making sure it says Parks Commission, it comports with the ordinances. I don't have my marked up copy with me, but if you have comments, I'd like to capture them tonight, and then we would like to move to a point where this can go to the Plan Commission for review after you are satisfied with it, and then and Common Council for adoption and administrative policy, subject to your kind of walk through it tonight. But like I said, I didn't get any comments from you guys, so I don't.
Well, we did last time. We said I wanted it said mitigation 1 to 0.75, and we wanted it to be 1 to 1, which does need change in the UDO.
Yeah,
But I think it was a reference to a table, and I don't think everyone caught it. But so if you cut down a
Oh,
tree,
yeah.
now you're only supposed to plant 0.75 trees. I think if you cut down a tree, a mature tree, you should have to plant one whole new tree. And that's how it used to be. Actually, it was 1.5 in the old one. So we asked them to plant 1.5 trees for every mature tree that
So
you
that
cut.
got reduced?
And now we're saying 1 tree to 0.75. And I couldn't figure out where we did that until we looked at the table that is from that Birch Line, which is the contractor that had the recommendations on the UDO. And when we went through them, tables just kind of got adopted and not all of the details, I think, were, and it's in that table.
It was
I
page
printed out the
15.
table for you.
Thank you.
Oh, you got 15.
Yeah, we went through that last.
And we
time.
went through
Yeah.
that last time, so that is a change, and that's not on this draft. And I've sent you a couple others. Can I email you
That would be great.
okay,
Yeah.
I will email you, and then we would need an updated draft. I'm fine if you go to Common Council if nobody else has comments on it, but that definitely is
We had
important.
some kind of comments last time about maintenance time. I mean, I just wrote down maintenance time. I don't know why I wrote it down.
Yeah, because we had said it was just a 3-year period for the maintenance of the new
Oh.
woodland.
Mhm.
Okay.
We talked about requiring how long you have to maintain once you plant new trees. you have to make sure that they're going to live. And I think we said at least 3 years maintenance time. And then the other one that I don't know where it would go was conservation easements, and it was in this other document, enforcement. Sorry, the enforcement of a conservation easement. And it is supposed to be sufficient monitoring conditions and financial sureties that ensure preservation and enhancements of that protected area or a compensation area that was allowed, which is already supposed to be part of it. And nobody's following through on that. So, like, if you look at the school again, there's buckthorn, and the report we got about the condition of that forest was that it was not in good condition, and that there was a lot of invasives and whatnot in there. Well, since 2014, 25 years, they were supposed to be monitoring these conditions and making sure that it was protected and the enhanced, and that's clear evidence that it was not. So why do we put these words on paper if nobody's going to do what they're going to do? So how do we ensure that that's happening? And that should be in here somewhere, is that the expectation is that whatever, twice a year or something, someone goes in there and reviews the site, or the city forester goes in once a year, and if it is, got buckthorn on it. What was it you guys were telling me, Kevin, last time? If a resident calls you, you guys would come cut their buckthorn?
No.
And you don't do that now because people were realizing it was cheaper to make you guys do it?
No, we've never done a private property.
They were just telling me that. What were we
It
talking
was
about?
$125 a man hour.
Weed,
The weed, okay, not buckthorn, sorry, the
Okay.
weed stuff.
Yeah.
And so, that is on the residential side, but then what about when you sign a conservation? So that, I think, needs to be in there. Those were my comments on it. And try to remember to, I'll email that to you.
That would be helpful.
But, yeah.
And financial monitoring, financial
Monitoring, conditions, financial and sureties that ensure the protected area is, and the compensated area is being preserved correctly. Okay.
This does make me allowed, like, if there is an existing conservation easement, it is not correctly making sense for a future impact. That's definitely negatively reflect on.
It should, but right now it does not. And we had that with those guys who came in. It was before we joined. Doing
the golf course.
It wasn't the golf course. I don't think it was the golf course. It was there was a wetland buffer, and they said we weren't the property owners.
Oh, it
when
was
we
The apartment or the
did that.
the concrete plant, right?
Yes, it was something like
And
that.
they left it just trash.
And they didn't, the people that came in said, well, we're going to clean all of this up and we're going to fix it. And they had encroached on the wetland buffer or something. And now they wanted to remove that and said, well, we didn't do this. We bought it from the people who did it. Well, it's a wetland buffer. It shouldn't have been sold without somebody, or, there should be something in place where.
I mean, when you purchase a property, you assume liabilities attached to it. So,
Right, but they sat here and said, we didn't do this, we want to fix it. And we let them.
Yeah.
Which I think we should. I think that was the right thing to do. I'm not saying that, but nobody's checking in on these things, apparently, is what I'm saying.
Who would be responsible if
In theory, code enforcement officer, but
we have
We don't
one,
have
right?
not for this
No.
category of review. There are, I don't have a good estimate of the acreage that's within a conservation easement in Franklin because they're recorded against individual properties.
Sure.
Like we would have to even first,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
I've been asking to do for a while, and frankly, like we only know if we're actively reviewing a property at one
Sure.
time. And then the city forester, or someone who's qualified to like go out there, do that kind of review, and there's really not staff to be able to do that comprehensively. I think in the case of larger developments, there are a couple of points where we do check in on the status of things like mitigation areas, existing protection. But once all of the like permitting process is complete, we set a time period for them to arrive at a certain point, and then in some cases I have received like monitoring reports from NRSE recipients that that was like approval, where they were required to produce a monitoring report and send that to me. And if there was something like a red flag, and look at it. There's only one example of that right now. It's not something that's written in the code reporting back. I don't know what the ramifications of requiring that, but in terms of like staffing it, there's no one on staff. In a comprehensive.
Well, and even if there was something in place where you can't proactively have someone that can go out there and monitor it because of cost, and you don't have the city position, when the entity or the developer or whoever comes to you and wants to get some other change, at that point, there should be some way that you can go back and say, this cannot move forward until the maintenance or the upkeep or the,
agreed upon language.
preservation of these protected areas that you had previously agreed to are brought up to that standard. And then they can hire whoever they need to hire, and until it's done, you don't let them move forward on other things.
And could we add to that as well? That I think you briefly said it as well. Is updates post they come here and it's approved and whatever. Maybe we can discuss about this next time, but maybe 1 year, 5 year, 10 year of hey, how is this doing? Because we agree, the city agreed to you to let us, change this, but have you let it go on to shit or not, or you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I think it'd be good for an update on that.
It would be helpful if you guys could wordsmith some of the discussion, like maintenance on existing areas. So if a new request is coming forward, you would have to affirmatively show that you have protected the natural resources of the site already, or that, responsible for the previous.
Yeah.
Any other things to add on this? To move forward.
I just would ask that if you have any additional comments as we think through, I typically try to prepare your agenda 10 days before the meeting, and then the packet is like when I'm working work stuff varies a lot in the month, but it would need to be so that I can incorporate it into a draft weeks. So especially with the holiday, yeah, that for sure. If you have any other comments that you're. And I, just as a note for the group, I will be out of the office from after.
Congratulations.
I didn't.
Goodness, it's not up to you.
Are you getting out of here? Going to Mexico or something?
No, I currently doing tour.
Oh, that's fun.
If I'm lucky, I'll be able to get Oh, I don't know. That's fun too. It is fun too. Just sit home and plug and put some on shelves.
That's what the cool kids are doing nowadays.
Yeah. Jack was teasing me
What are we
about
doing?
luxuriating in the boringness. That's what I want to do.
Fair enough. I'd like to drop this for now. I brought this up, but I don't want to talk about it today. Do I have to motion to just forget about it?
What?
Letter
Remove it?
G,
You want to
yeah.
just remove it from the agenda?
Yeah, or just skip it.
Table
Well,
it.
we're gonna have to deal with
Table
it
it.
again unless you want to
I
deal
don't.
with it again.
It can be a problem down the road.
If you guys don't want to discuss it anymore, I mean,
Okay.
We can table it for now and being brought back
And then
at
I
the
can take
chair's,
it off, right?
chair's discretion.
For next
Exactly.
time. All right, let's do that. Table that one. We don't have the
Can
motion
we-
now.
you need to
Yeah,
make
you gotta do have
Oh,
to.
I'll make a motion to, do we want to remove or table
Just table and then she
Table
can email me. and
item
get it.
G?
Yep, that's fine.
A
Second.
Oh,
All right.
Who's second? Who did it?
Amy. Give it to Amy.
All right.
That's what I
Um,
get.
then I
Who?
will.
Do we have to-
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor. All right, the motion is passed. Proposal to rename your Erie Lake Park.
Ernie Link.
Ernie, I'm sorry, my brain's fried today. Home of Lake Ernie in honor of Parks Commissioner Chair. I'm not even gonna. Words. So I'll let whoever brought that up talk about it.
Nobody brought it up. It was from 5 years ago.
well,
Well, they had to hold that for 5 years, wasn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was recommended that it park be called Tony Magna Park, home of Lake Ernie, 5 years ago, but a 5-year period after he retired. He was on the Park Commission and various other commissions in Franklin for 57 years.
Yeah.
And he was on like 6 different commissions. So we waited for 5 years and I resubmitted the letter. The letter was written by French.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on the commission then. And then everybody else on the commission signed it. So
And Marion was going to.
she gave us the
She did.
rules,
She's got the rules.
Oh,
out
we
there.
got it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and the way I read it, we have perfect authority to do this and send
Okay.
it to the Common Council for the final approval.
Right. So that would be a motion on us, right?
Okay.
To send
I
it
have
forward.
one question. Is Ernie Lake from anything? Or is Ernie?
no,
Okay, sounds good. That's all I have.
I'll make the motion.
Mary, okay. I'll second it.
All right. All
And
those-
that's to change the name, to rename Ernie Lake Park to Tony Magna Park, home of Lake Ernie.
I know.
Oh, and put a sign up.
I was surprised there was no sign up there. There's a sign about the dog. You know, the rules, the park rules.
Second that.
I seconded.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? Motion passed.
Okay.
All right.
I will try to take this to Common Council on the first meeting in January. Do they not meet in December?
We meet one more time next Tuesday.
Too short of a notice.
It's not too late, I just would. I'm not sure.
A packed agenda.
I think having to prepare the council action sheet and what everything that has to be given to the council.
Just.
Well, it would be nice if you did it before you died.
I don't have any control over that.
How old is he?
98.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how old it is.
No pressure.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I
Not well.
Oh.
Well, can we at least, could you inform, do you know him? Can you inform him that it passed here and now we need
Oh,
sign
yeah.
off from common
Yeah.
council?
That's
That's
good,
something.
yeah.
We did our part. Yeah. In a timely manner.
That's nice.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
No pressure, Marion.
Just to comment on community members that have contributed to many boards and committees, I assume you guys all know that Roy Lewandowski is no longer with us.
The man that always came,
Yeah.
he passed away?
He passed away.
No. Because he was here like in
Well, it's like a
October.
month ago already.
I did not know
He
that.
wasn't on boards. He just showed up.
But that was a good thing for him. He was
Well,
stayed active in what was going on with the city.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Sorry, this is
Yeah.
he was a presence around City Hall.
Yes, he was.
So,
Well, he was 90 something.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to have a bench made myself before I die to put at the pickleball court.
So you for yourself to sit on.
Well, no, just for the city.
There's a company out there that you can make bench panels with your ashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm making Christmas ornaments
There
with
you
my
go.
ashes.
There you go. That's fair enough. All right. So with new business, 2026 concerts in the park. Request on behalf of Franklin Park Concert Inc. The use of Lion Legends Band Shell for a free summer concert series on the following dates: June 28th, July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, August 23rd. Guessing that's supposed to say 2026. Correct.
Correct, because the
Okay.
header is for
Oh, yeah.
2026
Oops,
concert.
sorry.
Okay, just want to make sure there's no error.
2026.
Yep.
that should be changed.
Concerts will be from 1:30 to 3, and the request is from 11:30 to 4:30 for setup and stuff.
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm not sure why the applicants are not here this evening. The regular request. This organization has this public concert series happened for a long time now. They have received a public grant from the Common Council already as a waiver of fees for the park, and they have gone through their necessary reservation policy with the clerk's office, but because it's a recurring public event, requires your review. If you have questions for them, they've gone through a bunch of work to kind of work with PW around parking and stuff like that in past, but I would recommend approval. Questions?
I'm not.
Perfect.
Just approve, or do we need a motion?
We're going to make a motion
Make a motion
after
to approve.
discussion.
I'm good.
I think the only thing that we had in legacy, because we have passed
haven't
this
done that.
several years now, is that we didn't want them to drive around the oak trees, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they actually wrote that into their proposal in our packet. So that's nice that that's covered, but it's a pretty simple. I would make an motion to approve the concerts in the park with the dates identified
I'll
In
second.
2026.
in 2026.
Yeah.
2026. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those not in favor? All right, the motion passed.
And then for this pickleball tournament, Engage Franklin is
They dropped it, right?
yeah, they're a community group that does tourism work in Franklin. They're staffed by the economic development director. And so they did formally withdraw this request, but then I'm going to pass around an email about this that kind of explains who they are and why the request is being withdrawn. I would make a suggestion that they come to a future meeting to kind of talk about like community.
Oh, from the tourism commission.
Right. So Engage Franklin is like, there's like a, I frankly don't understand how all these groups are interrelated. They'll speak for themselves at a future date. So,
I can fill you.
I-
But I'll do that individually, because I think since we're including everything, we can do that.
I just have, I don't want to drag on the meeting, but when I looked at that request, I did look up that DY Sports, and they're they're not a nonprofit. They're an organization that sets up these tournaments and stuff out of Seattle, Washington.
I saw that it
So
was Seattle,
one
Washington.
thing, and this person, this Jason that submitted this, Verduin, is a resident of Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
And he put that on the request for a review as well. But I do think if we're talking with Engage Franklin, or if they want to do tournaments in Franklin, the same thing. I would say the same thing for like when The Rock does events, when whatever. Use local people. We have Southwest Wisconsin Association of Pickleball that will set up tournaments for you. Do the same thing that the Seattle organization is doing. I don't think we should be entertaining using our parks in any way, even if it's a nonprofit tournament that the organizer is out of state. It doesn't make sense to me. I think state options, in-state options. I don't know if you can do that, but this is our tax dollars. We live here. We support these parks. And so I would like it to be as local as possible, but certainly you can do better than Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's feedback that Engage here.
Yeah. Tournament organizers, there's other tournament organizing. I'm sure that we could find a tournament organizer in the state of Wisconsin.
Engage Franklin also has another website up too, right, with parks on it. Well, like that's not the .gov, it's the .com.
Yes.
But that's another thing that maybe we can talk about next.
So they have a profit side too? Is that what you're saying?
We're going to have to talk about other things probably at another date, right? Because Engage is a part of the Tourism Commission, which has members who are with for-profit organizations. And so there's a interplaying dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that, like the hotel and the pub
Publications
and
that they
whatever
put
are
out.
sponsors of,
Right.
or are on the board of directors for Engage Franklin.
Engage is a type of pickleball. I don't know if that has anything
No,
to do
it
with
doesn't.
this.
I don't think so because they
Oh,
do
okay.
a lot of other youth
Oh,
tournaments
okay.
and stuff too.
We were
but-
fortunate because we did go to Tourism Commission and get funding for the printing
Oh,
of those
printing.
packets too.
Yeah.
One of our members went to their meeting, right, and proposed printing up all of those for a specific amount of money, so we were able to do that.
Karen.
So yeah, it'd be great if they came but that goes back to the discussion about like who is going to be allowed to rent courts out and
Right.
what is a community organization. It's not somebody in Seattle that runs a tournament company in any estimation that I can imagine. So I would have not voted to approve this. We don't have to, but I get who Engage is as well. And
Do you want to invite them to,
Yeah.
they have some kind of vision for the city as far as like,
Yeah, so this is, again, I'm not totally clear on the relationship between Engage Franklin and Tourism itself, but I do know the Tourism Commission is actually the state-enabled body. They levy a fee from like taxes.
Hotel room tax that's
Uh,
collected, 70% of every dollar for the hotel room
Yeah.
tax. goes to the Tourism Commission. The other 30% goes to general fund. The Tourism Commission then has outsourced the work to Engage Franklin to drive tourism to the city. The way they monitor that is by usage rate of hotels in the city. So the more people that have, the goal is more heads in beds, as it's called. So it's kind of this circular thing of like, okay, well, you get this money from the room tax that goes to promote tourism. That brings more people to the city, which then has more people staying in rooms, and thus the circle of life continues.
Real quick, Kevin, I know you gotta work tonight. If you wanna go, I think you're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you next
Hi,
year.
Kevin.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
I don't know. If you guys wanna talk, I gotta work tonight as well, so I'd love to get going.
I make a
so.
motion, we adjourn.
That's fine. I
I
mean,
second that.
26.
We all have to go.
all right. All those in favor then?
Okay, you
Aye.
made the motion. Who seconded?
Amy.
I did.
Anyone here did.
Okay.
And then all those motion?
Aye.
Aye.
I.
Aye.
All right. All those in favor? Nobody. The meeting is concluded at 8:26 p.m.